The Act opens with its purpose. An act to provide for the establishment of Federal Reserve banks, to furnish an elastic currency, to afford means of rediscounting commercial paper, to establish a more effective supervision of banking in the United States, and for other purposes. This single statement defines the law, not merely a bank, but a system designed to regulate currency, credit, and bank supervision at a national level. The Act does not create one central bank with elected oversight. Instead, it defines the Federal Reserve System as, the Federal Reserve System shall be composed of a Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System and 12 Federal Reserve banks. This means control was structured in multiple layers. A central board and regional banks all defined by statute. The Board of Governors is defined fully by law. The Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System shall be composed of 7 members, appointed by the President, by and with the advice and consent of the Senate. No election. No direct national vote. The Act places authority in appointed officials. The regional banks are also defined by statute. 12 Federal Reserve banks shall be established in the United States. These 12 banks are legally created, institutions that operate under the supervision of the Board of Governors. The Act also specifies how these regional banks relate to commercial banks. The capital stock of each Federal Reserve Bank shall be divided into shares and shall be held exclusively by member banks. This language means that commercial banks must own stock in the Federal Reserve banks to participate, a structural fact many people do not realize. But this stock is not typical corporate stock. It cannot be sold or traded outside the member banks, and it is defined in statute with specific limitations and fixed dividends, meaning it does not confer control like normal ownership. The Act also defines currency issuance. Federal Reserve notes shall be issued at the discretion of the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve System, and Federal Reserve notes shall be obligations of the United States. This clause makes clear that the power to issue U.S. currency is not held by Congress directly, but by the Federal Reserve System under statutory authority. The law also distinguishes the Federal Reserve's independence. In exercising the powers conferred upon it by this Act, the Board of Governors shall not be subject to direction from any other officer or agency of the government. This independence is written into law, not assumed, meaning the system operates apart from day-to-day political control. These are the legal foundations in the document itself that explain who has authority, how money is issued, what structure governs currency, how the system relates to commercial banks. The Federal Reserve Act is not secret. It is public law codified in Title 12 of the U.S. Code.